Hi guys, today I'm going to be demonstrating how to cut a fringe. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. So one of the things that I think is the best thing to do is to actually cut your fringe dry. What you don't want is to have soaking wet hair, to be pulling things very taut, finding that you've either got kinks that make it bounce up in strange places, or just the fact that it dries, you'll lose another 1/4 inch as well. So I think the best thing to do is to try and get your fringe in as natural a state as possible. But I'm going to work on the assumption that this fringe here is disconnected from the rest of the head of hair. And if I think about this as being one triangle, this as being another triangle, and that as being another one. So first and foremost, let's just try and get rid of all of the hair that you're not going to be working on. As clean as you can at this stage will make all the difference. Work on the assumption that the best possible fringes really look good when they're between the eyebrow and the eye. Obviously, if you're wearing your hair very strong, you could make it a bit more sharper than that, and you can take it above that, and very extreme or retro styles you can take it even shorter than that. But generally speaking, you want to be aiming more or less between the eyebrows and the eyes. So I think it's actually better if you can, and you can get these online as well, is to try and get yourself, rather than a pair of kitchen scissors or nail scissors, I mean it's just, they're not going to work because they're not sharp enough. You need to use either proper hairdressing scissors, which you can get online, or something as near as damn it, maybe in the sort of sewing department. But really, I think it's better if you can try and get yourself a pair of thinning scissors. These are scissors that more or less cut every other hair. If you're doing it yourself, then you can, of course, work on one section whereby one eye is able to then see what you're doing. But it really is better if you can kind of get somebody else to help you do this. And really, it's more or less what you're aiming to do is try and get, instead of a very solid line, between here and there, you want it just broken up. So don't be afraid to take less. You can always come into it. Now, you don't have to do this, but if you could just slightly section it off, it just means that you're working on less hair. Just take it without putting any tension, just cut into this very gently. Now you can see I can almost do it by picking it up, but because you've allowed it to be in the really neat place and very gentle, and you're not kind of forcing it, look, you can just start to just get some of those ends off. And again, you see, every time I do a bit, it's not enough, but I can look at it and say, okay, that's kind of fine, I can do a bit more. Again, I can take it through again. But you see what I mean? It's just making it slightly softer on the edge. And it also doesn't stop me just going in freehand and just taking that last ½ inch, put the scissors in a downward motion, and just start to chip away at this. This really will show the benefits if you just be patient, okay? So again, I'm going down again, just to take out some of that weight in there, but I'm constantly taking a slightly curved motion there. You don't have to do that. You could make it slightly straighter if you want. It's kind of up to you. And just the fact that even trying to get certain hairdressing equipment online is starting to be slightly more difficult. You can still get it. It's showing to me that it really is a major factor for a lot of people. See, we're getting closer and closer to that point where in between eyebrows and eyes. So it's enough for it to be that slightly rock chicky sort of look, and also she can see as well. So I'm just picking up those ends, but because I'm using thin scissors, it's allowing you to be a little more forgiving in terms of the bluntness. Check the thinning scissors you've got as well, because some of them do have very wide. I doubt that the ones online will be a problem, but some of them do have very, very wide teeth and some have very, very close. These are kind of fairly average. They're more or less cutting every other hair. But you see, it's allowing it to just grade slightly softer that side. We can work on the other side now. Okay, and again, same principles, that I really want to have that slight shaping. It's amazing actually that in the world of hairdressing, it's probably one of the things that really dictates the sort of hairdresser you can be. I mean, in how you cut fringes, because there are just so many, and it's very easy to be able to be very sharp and avant-garde about it, but for most people, they're looking for something that actually has a slightly, almost like a slightly grown out quality about it. And this enables you to do that using thinning scissors. Some of the do's and don'ts: try not to cut too far in to the existing fringe. That's when it really starts to become very, very strong. Also, be aware that an awful lot of people have a kink, usually one side. It's why I say you're better off doing it from dry. Start to see already that you've got enough there. I'm just on killers. I'm just going to lift the roots up a little bit. So I'm just going to use a little bit of hair raising. I just take that triangle on the top, and it's amazing how just putting a bit of volume into the roots. And very often what I would do is I would just get a bunch of the sectioning clips that we had and just lift the roots up and let it dry like that. So it's a very quick and easy way of getting that volume without it looking too done. And then I tend to put a little bit of leave-in conditioner. This is brilliant. This is just a azure, smooth and curl. So it just works perfectly in terms of all sorts of finished looks, because it just gives a bit of texture, but also it means I can blow it out if I want to. So just allowing it to have a bit of movement, and I can just add a little bit of heat if I want. Easy care look. And I do believe that even in these strange times, it's quite good to try and feel at least slightly well groomed. There you have it.